Unleash the power of purpose with impactful business voices, hosted by Nancy Backey and Anita Larson. Each week, you'll be inspired by stories from companies that are making a real difference in the world, and you'll learn practical tips on how to grow your business with an impact.
Hey, everybody. Welcome and thank you for listening to Impactful Business Voices podcast. And our monthly business lounge episode is today. So today we're going to provide a lot of valuable information, and we highly recommend that you get your pen and notepad, and not just just do it by ear, maybe computer notes, whatever is preferable for you. But be ready to take notes because this is something that you will want to add to your business. So today we are your hosts. I'm Nancy Backey.
And I'm Anita Larson. And we are so excited to be back here and talk about this. Another important strategy. And we just love to share this and be able to help when we can. So, like most of us, I know most of you are struggling with being able to have that predictable flow of leads that convert to clients. I think that's the never-ending biggest struggle of business owners. Would you say, Nancy?
They're always looking for leads, no matter what.
Always, yes. So today we're going to talk about a great strategy, my favorite strategy to get a consistent stream of clients for your business. Because right now, most likely you're getting clients from a few places, but there's nothing predictable about it. Most likely they're coming from referrals, networking, what Nancy and I like to call the hope method. We hope we can get somebody that way, right? Or maybe you're spending some money on advertising that may or may not be performing. And we're not even sure, you may not even have a budget for paid advertising yet to spend on like client acquisition. And we just know as a business owner how nerve-wracking it can be. Your business depends on these leads. And if you're not sure where your next client is going to come from, it's very stressful. So we're going to talk about joint ventures and strategic partnerships. And these are the best strategies to get results, to get a predictable stream of leads with no upfront cost or investment. So, Nancy, tell us more about it.
Absolutely. And actually, I wanted to dissect lead for a moment. Some people think a lead is they can buy leads, or I don't know what people want. I don't even know how people even think. How can I buy a list of leads? I mean, it's not a list of leads. It's a list of businesses, right? That's what it is. That's not the game we play, because that is a game that we don't know what guarantee it is. Joint venture, you will be able to have a relationship with someone that will give you warm referrals, right? So it's a very different. So let's dissect what it is first, because a lot of people that have no idea what joint ventures or strategic partnerships are. So first, it means that you're really partnering with other brands, other companies, or other business owners that have that same ideal target customer as you do. Really, it's a mutual beneficial alliance that you're creating together. A really solid joint venture, it really can provide unique benefits to both partners and unprecedented value to your clients, right? There's no like Anita said, there's no upfront costs involved. It's the time to actually prepare them that takes the longest. But once they're prepared, guess what? You have them for life, right? Or as long as that relationship goes on. But the compensation will be based on a percentage off a deal, off a closed deal or a signed client that you have, allowing you the opportunity to really find that right partner and not wasting time and money on relationships that are not going to really work for you guys in the long run, right? The best part of these types of partnerships is their long-term strategies, right? Yes, like I said before, they take time to build, but once they build, they can last for so many years.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Anita, look, I'm sure a lot of people, they don't know very much about what to do. Where do they get started? I mean, it's a
Mhm.
no cost strategy. Maybe you could share with them a little bit about how they can get started.
Yeah, because I'm sure many of you now are sitting there thinking about, well, I don't know who I could possibly create a joint venture with. How do I find somebody that would work with me or work for me? So let's talk about that. So there are two questions you need to ask and find the answers to when it comes to initiating a joint venture or finding that perfect partner for you. And that is one, who is my ideal customer? And if you don't know your ideal customer, I know we keep saying this episode after episode, but you need to go through that exercise to figure out who your ideal customer is. You can go to Impactful Business Voices on YouTube, look up the recording of our last month's business launch episode where we covered just that and went through in detail how to figure out who your ideal customer is. It is key for any business. I'm going to keep saying it. It's key for any business to know who their ideal customer is and who you're speaking to, how to target and reach that specific person.
Yeah, actually, let me interrupt for a minute. And I will repeat it again. If you do not have an ideal customer profile, do not waste your time doing any marketing. Forget about joint
Mhm.
ventures. Don't even talk to your next customer or prospect. You
Yeah,
need to do it. It will make a huge difference. And we know a lot of businesses that don't do them, and that's why they suffer in the end when they get too far, right? So sorry, just wanted to
yeah.
push the fact of the
Thank you.
importance of it.
So that's the first question. Who is your ideal customer? Next question is, who else has a very similar ideal customer to you and has access to a database of that potential customer? So I'm sure you have a database of your customers. So a partner, somebody you would want to partner with, is another business owner with a similar ideal customer that also has a database of those customers. Now, that's going to take some brainstorming. Another way to think about it too is, who else does my customer interact with during their purchasing process? So as they're going to purchase my product or service, who else might they run into while they're going through that customer journey? Um, like I said, it's going to take some brainstorming. So we're going to give you a few examples. Nancy, I know that you have some really good examples that we can share to kind of help you kickstart the brainstorming and start writing down who could this person be for me, right?
Yeah. So I'll use I'll give a few little examples, and they may not be your specific industry, but hopefully one of these three are gonna talk to you, and you're gonna feel like aligned. And you so let's call a business coach. I mean, even though business coach word is not my favorite word, but business coach. Let's go there. You can create a successful joint venture with many different people. First of all, accountant. An accountant also works with business owners, and they have a unique insight into that financial state of that business and the overall state of their business. And remember, they're a warm client. They already know and trust that client that they're doing their taxes for every year, right? But this would be a great client for the business coach and for the accountant. They'd be able to offer it something valuable and something new that the accountant never has offered before. You know, so that's one really, really good example. I mean, Anita and I, accountants are one of our favorite joint ventures. I mean, we show that accountant exactly what we're going to be able to help their client with, right? And then they see it and they're like, "Oh my God, you got to speak to Anita, or you got to speak to Nancy," right? So that's how you want your joint ventures to be. I'll give you another one as a relationship coach. Um, they could create a good and successful joint venture with a local speed dating service, where they're providing relationship coach for the client, and they're offering a valuable service and a higher successful matching rate for that dating service. So again, you want to understand what is that problem that person has, and if you have that solution and you're dealing with that same client, then that is a great step one, right? um, Thinking of another example, it's just a traditional example. Just think about purchasing the purchasing path your customers are when they engage with you. Imagine you're a flower shop, and your customer is shopping she's getting married soon, right? So who else will engage in that process of preparing her wedding, right? They need to buy rings, a possible wedding planner, finding a venue, catering company, photographer, printer or invitations, um, maybe even traveling, for their honeymoon. Things like, I mean, there's a lot involved in getting married. But all of these companies and the business owners, they're potential partnerships for you. And if they trust each other, then it just makes it easier for you or for that woman that's getting married to actually go and be able to see these, right? But then you're a potential referral partner for them. So I hope that this makes sense. These are just a few examples, but now it's time for you to really put your thinking cap on and really brainstorm options. Do not think that you're going to get a JV partner in 30 minutes after you watch this recording. It's just not going to happen. You want to take the time, not just brainstorm. Maybe talk to a few people that you know. If you have a business coach, talk to them. If you have business friends that are, in that mindset, talk to them. Don't do everything on your own. And if you're stuck by yourself, please, Anita and I are always available to answer your questions. Anita, go for it. I mean, how do they get started?
Yeah, so let's go into a little more detail on how this process can happen and how you can find those partners. Because now that you sat down, you do the brainstorming, you have an idea where you can consider and where you can look for these potential partners. How do they fit with your business? So now look for, again, I'm going to just repeat that. Look for businesses that complements your business and services and target the same customer. And now start building your list. Create 2 lists. One list of people that you know in these specific professions or industries that you now identified through your brainstorming, right? And then one list of people you don't know, but that you might be interested in working with. And these might just be people in the industry that you've heard of. I don't really know them, but that would be really cool if I could work with them someday. We all have that list, right? So now put that down on paper. And we'd recommend about 25 businesses on each list. Sit down and think about, how do you want to position this to the potential partner that you're going to reach out to? So before you write down your list, before you start reaching out to anybody, really sit down and think about it. It's important that they understand the benefits of what you offer. First of all, they have to know your service and your product. They have to be comfortable and fully know and understand what you do and how you do it. You may even consider letting them try your services or product at no cost so they can really get the true understanding of the value that you bring. And secondly, they need to understand the mutual benefits of a partnership. So make sure you sit down and think about, what are these benefits? How can you all help each other? List out all the benefits that you can think of, that you can bring to each other. What can you bring to this business? What are you hoping they can bring to you? And what can you guys do together as collaborations potentially? So make sure you can really speak to that once you get on a call.
I just want to speak to that, Anita, before you continue. That is one of the most important things that Anita just said. And this has to do with networking. This has to do with JV partners. This has to do with even getting a client. It's never about you. It's always about the other person. And when it's about the other person, I mean, money is there, right? But just make sure that, especially in JVs, it's not about you. It's what can you help? It's not even about the accountant. It's really about his customers. Really. So.
I mean, we can really say, in the spirit of this podcast, what kind of impact can you make on their business, right? With your services and product. What's the impact that you're bringing to this?
Yeah.
So now you got that all figured out. You know your talking points. You did your homework. You know what you can bring to them. Start reaching out to the people on the list. Start with a list of people you know, because they're always going to be the easier ones, right? So you want to make sure you get some quick wins, some people you know that you're comfortable with, even possibly. Ideally, call them or DM them. Try, don't email, because people will ignore emails to the end of days. And just ask them to schedule a brief chat. Say, hey, I want to catch up. I want to talk about potential business opportunity. That's the quickest and easiest way to get a response.
Yeah.
So start with that. Create your lists of people to reach out to, the 2 lists. Create the list of benefits and how you can make impact for each other. How can you help this business? What can you guys do together? Start reaching out.
Yeah. And what's really important with the email is that, or text message, or however you're going to do it, even though yes, email is not the best. Um, don't do a spam email. Like, don't say, "Oh, hi," like, no, be very direct. "Hi, Anita. It was really great talking to you." Like, have a relatable, have it sound like a good email, not just like a spammy
Mhm.
one that I'm sending 25 emails in the same 30 seconds, right?
Yeah,
So just
personalize
really,
it.
very, very
Yeah.
important. So that was awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits. I mean, again, a lot of people have no idea, and that's why they don't take the time to put them together. So we thought that this was really important. But this is truly key to building a successful long-term partnership. Um, let's go back to our business, our business coach and accountant joint venture example. What would some of the benefits be for the accountant to be a part of this alliance, right? So the business coach could provide access to exclusive workshops for the accountant's clients. They could
Hmm.
offer cross referrals as well. The business coach can, get his or her clients to check in with their accountants on more regularly instead of one time a year, maybe 3, 4 times a year. The accountant does love that, by the way. Not just at tax season, and then they're busy for 3, 4 months and then they can't speak to even their own spouse, right? Um, really to be able to stay on top of that business, their financials, and it does add additional revenue for the accountant as well, right? And they could run so many different cross promotions, growing their reach and their awareness together, right? Um, they could hold joint workshops, reaching a larger audience and really providing more value from both of them, right? If you got the accountant and you in front of the crowd of people that they trust already, um, what an amazing equation. They can bundle their services. They can build their accounting fees into coaching fees, right? Like, again, depending on the relationship that you're going to create, and they could even offer accounting services as an added value to the coaching program. Again, so many different ways. It's about really brainstorming together and see how we can benefit and help the business owners, for example. Um, so where is all this going? Now, I want you guys to think about mutual benefits that you can find in a potential partnership with your ideal joint venture partner. Take the time to do that. Um, yeah, Anita, I mean,
Yeah.
I know they have a lot of questions in their mind. Maybe it could be like, what about all the time that I spend in this? Like,
Hmm.
how do I know if that's going to actually work for me?
Yeah, and that's the thing, it's like anything you do in business, everything takes an investment of time, right? So although we said there's no upfront cost in this, but yes, it is going to take some time. And I would suggest setting reasonable goals for one thing, even if it's as simple as my goal is going to be to land one strategic partnership a month. It can be start out that easy. So set your goals and be proactive to meet that goal. Don't try to overdo it. This is, again, it's a long-term strategy, but it's a very solid strategy once you get it going. And of course, now how do you know that it's going to work? You're going to put in the time, you're going to do the outreach. How do you know it's going to work? Well, again, it's not going to happen by itself. You have to work on it, just like everything else we do in business. It takes work. You have to find the right person for you to work with. So I'm going to reiterate what we said earlier. It's really important that you consistently show your value to your partners. You should always make your partner the hero, especially in front of their clients. Give them full credit where it's due and consistently help them build up their value and reputation, right? So be a good partner is the bottom line.
Yeah.
Make it easy for them to promote you and your services. The way you treat them is how they will treat you ultimately. So I would also suggest prepping some marketing material that they can use to help promote you and make sure they really know that you value them. Um, in the marketing material, you know, have your messaging in there, have your benefits, all the values that you bring to your clients, so they would know how to talk about it. Now, say you go through all this, you go through this exercise, you find a couple people that agree to partner up with you, and you start down this road and there's not really any value there, or the relationship is really not that great. Well, then move on. Move on to the next person that may be a better fit. Is that simple? You're not out any money. If anything, all you did was generate some awareness and goodwill from reaching out and starting talking to new people and looking to create partnerships. So if it's not the perfect fit, that's okay. Go to the next person, because just like any, and I think Nancy and I can speak to this with confidence, because especially in business coaching, we don't work with just anybody. It has to be a good fit personality wise and relationship wise, because it's a very close relationship. And I think that's the case with any partnership. You want to partner with people that you're comfortable with, that you click with, and that ultimately you're going to trust and work with long term.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate to let somebody go if it doesn't work out.
And again, I'm going to just push the most important point in creating a joint venture. It's not a sale. You're not trying to close a sale. That's not what it's about.
Great point.
It is about relationship. It is really about, and please don't forget to show them what you do, because then it'll be a sale and they're never going to talk about you. Right? Like for us, we take them through the interview and the assessment. Why? If they don't see what we do and our process, why are they gonna? I mean, how are they gonna talk about us? How are they say, "Oh yeah, you really got to talk to Nancy," or "You really got to"? They're not. So if you really want them, go deep into that. You're not charging them. You're taking, it's your time and their time, but take the time to do that. It is one of the most important. So guys, there you have it. I mean, JV, I mean, there's not much about it. There is, again, the most important is the time that you take to do it. But if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur that's really looking for a predictable way to get clients, this is going to really set you up for growth and future success. A really productive JV, a joint venture or partnership, it's going to really provide you with your partner with an ongoing stream of clients due to your joint efforts. And it's really just a matter of time, really, to find the right people for you to work with. That's really what it is. Guys, after watching this, I hope you're really more open to the idea to adding this to your business. Because again, we are in an era, I like to call it, we're in a relationship era. We're not in a sales era like we were 20 years ago, where there was one accountant, one lawyer, etc. There's 20 accountants and 20 lawyers just in your backyard, right? So who do you want to work with? Who is going to want to work with you, right? Now, I know that everyone has to find strategies that work for them. So if this is not it, then Anita and I would love to help you really find the strategy that is really aligned with you and your business. Don't hesitate to reach us. You know how to reach us at info@impactfulbusinessvoices.com. You're more than welcome. Schedule a quick chat with us about this strategy or anything else that we've covered in our podcast. Connect with us on LinkedIn or by email, of course. And guys, we're always here for you. We know how joint ventures work. We know how these no-cost strategies work. We just wonder all the time, why do companies not take the time to put them together? So we're here for you guys.
Yeah, and I so agree with what you said, Nancy. This is the era of relationships or collaborations. I think it's amazing. I love the level of collaborations that are happening in the businesses today. So we hope that this was useful information and that you were able to take notes and get it started and implementing it in your business. So if you missed some steps, just feel free to watch this back. The recording will be on our YouTube channel immediately following this live. And like Nancy said, we're always open to chat. Reach out. One more thing to mention. If you are an impactful business owner, if you have a story to share, or you're making an impact with what you do every day with your services or products, we'd love to speak with you and possibly have you as a guest on the show. So also reach out if you're interested in being a guest on the show.
Absolutely. That would be awesome. And guys, don't miss out on our future episodes. Now, next Tuesday, we are going to be re-airing our episode of last week with Danielle Southwick, our advanced grief recovery specialist. Unfortunately, there was a LinkedIn error issue. I'm not sure what happened, but really at the end, we just decided that we want everybody to watch LinkedIn. It was an amazing episode.
Yes.
And, keep in mind, grief is not about just grieving on somebody passing away. There's so many different grieves out there. I learned so much on that call and would love you guys to check it out. So we're going to re-put it on there. So again, we wanted to make sure that her powerful message is really, you guys are getting all those benefits like we did as well. So we're going to see you guys here next Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. And until next week, guys, go make an impact.
Thank you for listening to Impactful Business Voices. Subscribe now and don't miss an episode.